Lily greets all our dear listeners of the Destiny Tales channel. In today's familiar broadcast slot, we invite you and your friends to enjoy a captivating short story titled One Night Love at 18. We hope this story brings you moments of relaxation and intrigue. After listening, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel to support Lily and the entire team. Now, let's dive into the story. Mrs. Clara had finished preparing lunch. She quickly arranged the food on a tray and carried it to the main room. Looking at the steaming meal, Clara felt satisfied with her morning's hard work. Glancing at the clock, it was exactly 11 a.m. She thought to herself that her husband and daughter would be home soon. As if on cue, she heard Mr. Henry's voice as he arrived at the front door. "What's for lunch today?" "Wow, it smells delicious already," Henry said, taking off his hat and placing it on the shelf. He walked past the table, sniffing the air. "Your nose is still sharp, isn't it? I made your and Emma's favorite, crab stew. Took me all morning, so it better be delicious," Clara replied with a smile, pulling out a chair for her husband. "Emma's not back yet?" Henry asked, sitting down and glancing toward the door. Emma was their daughter, a college student in the city. She was home for summer break and had been staying with her parents for a month. "Not yet, but she should be back soon. I sent her to the corner store to pick up a few things," Clara said, serving rice and answering her husband. Henry nodded. "All right, let's set the table and wait for her to eat together." Clara agreed and continued, "This morning, Jack called me. He said he's almost done with his project, and his boss praised him highly. He even got a bonus. Once the project's finished, he'll come back to the city and visit us for a few days." "Really? That's great. I'll call him tonight to congratulate him," Henry said, unable to hide his joy. Clara smiled brightly. Today, she seemed especially cheerful, partly because her daughter was home and partly due to her son's good news. This inspired her to prepare an elaborate meal. Jack was their eldest son, and Emma was his younger sister. Years ago, Clara and Henry had struggled to have children despite their prosperous business. They didn't have Jack until their early 30s, and Emma came 4 years later when Clara was nearly 40. Having endured such challenges to have their 2 children, they cherished them deeply, always striving to provide the best for them. Jack had graduated from university in the city and was now an architect, while Emma was a freshman studying accounting. "There's Emma now." Henry spotted a slender figure approaching from a distance, recognizing his daughter. Emma parked her scooter in the yard and politely greeted her parents. Seeing the hot sun, Clara urged her inside. "Are you tired, dear? Come in, wash up, change, and eat with us." Emma obediently followed her mother's instructions, quickly washing her face and hands before joining her parents at the table, not wanting them to wait too long. The family of 3 gathered around the meal, eating and chatting about daily life. Henry gently asked, "When are you heading back to the city?" "Probably next week. I want to go early to clean my dorm room," Emma replied, picking up a piece of fish. Clara added more food to her plate. Both of her children always reassured her. Jack was the son she was proud to mention, and while Emma was naive and less experienced than her brother, she was obedient and diligent. Clara looked at Emma and advised, "When you go back to the city, take care of your health. Don't skip meals or stay up too late, it's not good for you. Study hard, and if you need anything, tell us. We'll do our best to support you. Your brother's in the city too, so ask him for help if you need it. Stick together, but don't get caught up in distractions. The city has its temptations, so be careful." Henry added calmly, "There are many pitfalls out there, so stay cautious." Emma nodded obediently, and the family meal continued in a warm, joyful atmosphere. After lunch, Clara didn't let Emma wash the dishes, insisting she rest in her room. In the early afternoon, Henry went out to work, while Emma asked her mother's permission to visit a close friend, Sarah, whom she knew from high school. Sarah, a young woman who worked as the school's health assistant, had bonded with Emma over frequent visits to the infirmary due to Emma's frail health. Over time, they became like sisters, sharing many conversations. Since Emma was home for an extended summer break, she took the chance to visit Sarah. At the agreed time, Emma rode her scooter to the school under the scorching sun. She felt unwell, her head buzzing since noon. Lately, Emma had been feeling lethargic, with no appetite and difficulty sleeping. Upon arriving, she saw Sarah writing something. "What's wrong, Emma? You look pale," Sarah said, concerned but happy to see her. Emma briefly explained her symptoms. Sarah gave her a glass of warm water, prescribed some medicine, and told her to rest on the infirmary bed. Emma dozed off briefly and felt slightly better upon waking. "Thanks, Sarah. It's been a while since I visited, and here I am, troubling you and sleeping in the infirmary like back in high school," Emma said, sitting up, feeling improved. Sarah smiled. "I'm just glad to see you. Are you feeling better?" They chatted for a bit, but Sarah lowered her voice and asked, "Your symptoms seem severe. Do you get them often?" Emma nodded, mentioning occasional nausea. Sarah's expression darkened. She sat beside Emma and asked, "Think carefully. Have your periods been regular these past few months?" Emma was surprised by the personal question but answered softly, "It's been almost 2 months since my last one." Due to her naturally weak health, her cycles were sometimes irregular, and doctors had attributed it to poor nutrition and irregular habits. She assumed her busy schedule caused the delay and thought it would normalize. Sarah grew serious, making Emma uneasy. "Do you have a boyfriend?" Sarah asked. Emma hesitated, then shyly nodded. She had been dating Mark, a man 6 years her senior, for nearly a year. They met when Mark, a graduate student, visited her university for research. He pursued her diligently, bringing her food daily and waiting after classes to escort her back to her dorm. As a young woman new to love, Emma fell for his charm. They soon confirmed their relationship, but Mark insisted on keeping it secret, saying they'd announce it when they were ready for marriage. Emma complied, hiding it from everyone, including her brother Jack and her parents. Since Sarah wasn't in the city, Emma felt safe confiding in her. Sarah frowned and grabbed Emma's hand. "Have you and your boyfriend been intimate?" Emma froze, embarrassed. Sarah urged, "Tell me the truth. I need to know to help diagnose you." Emma was scared by Sarah's serious tone. She couldn't admit aloud that she had given herself to Mark during their 3-month anniversary. He had gifted her a bracelet and a cake, and after a passionate kiss, he asked for intimacy. Emma, torn between fear and not wanting to disappoint him, succumbed to his sweet words. She was naive, curious about love, and believed it was fine since she loved him. Their intimacy grew frequent, often at motels, which Emma initially resisted but gradually accepted. She hung her head, gripping the bedsheet. Sarah sighed, "Oh, Emma, how could you be so naive? Do you realize how serious this is? Love has boundaries." Emma, piecing together Sarah's questions and demeanor, panicked. "Sarah, tell me clearly, am I pregnant?" she stammered. Sarah looked at her dear friend with sadness, disappointment, and worry. "Based on your symptoms, I thought it might be a coincidence, but your blood pressure and pulse aren't normal. From my time working in a maternity hospital, I suspect you're pregnant." Emma protested, "That's impossible. I took birth control pills every time." Sarah was shocked. "Pills? Why didn't you use safer methods? Do you know how harmful those pills can be?" Her voice turned angry. Emma burst into tears, feeling as if she'd fallen from a great height. Sarah softened, "All right, it's just my suspicion. Stay here and rest. I'll get a pregnancy test." She returned with 2 tests, and Emma, trembling, used them. Each second felt like fire burning her heart. She prayed it was a mistake, but both tests showed two clear lines, confirming Sarah's suspicions. Emerging from the bathroom, Emma saw Sarah waiting anxiously. Seeing Emma's face, Sarah knew the result and looked at her with pain. Sarah understood that young people like Emma, whether in rural areas or cities, were often curious about adult relationships but naive about sex and reproduction. Cultural taboos prevented open discussions, leaving them to explore blindly, often with dire consequences. Emma was a prime example. Still crying, she didn't know how to face the truth. She recalled how Mark never used protection, only giving her pills to take. Now, Sarah's words made her terrified. Touching her stomach, Emma realized the fetus would grow, and she couldn't hide it from her parents. How could they face the community? Reading Emma's turmoil, Sarah waited for her to calm down before saying, "I'll take you home. We need to tell your parents. This can't be hidden. I'll find a way to explain it gently." Emma, terrified but unable to speak for herself, agreed. They returned to Emma's house, where Henry and Clara were waiting for dinner. Seeing Emma with a stranger, they were confused. Clara, noticing Emma's tears, asked, "Why are you crying? What happened?" Sarah introduced herself. "Hello, I'm Sarah, the health assistant at Emma's old high school." Henry invited her to sit and have tea, asking, "Is something wrong?" Sarah hesitated, seeing the honest, kind faces of Emma's parents. She knew they'd be shocked, but the truth couldn't be concealed. Carefully choosing her words, she explained Emma's situation. Henry and Clara stared at each other, stunned, then at Emma, who was sobbing quietly. From the moment Sarah began, Henry felt drained, his hands dropping to the table. He couldn't believe his ears. Though he wasn't as close to Emma as Clara, she was his pride, always cherished and protected. He never imagined she'd do something so shocking. Clara, in disbelief, cried, "It can't be true. There must be a mistake." Emma knelt, sobbing, "I'm sorry, Mom, Dad. I've messed up." Clara knelt too, hugging her daughter, both weeping. Henry watched them, heartbroken. He hadn't expected such a calamity. Sarah spoke, "Please stay calm. I know this is a shock, but we need to focus on helping Emma. She has a future ahead." Henry responded, "Thank you, Sarah. Without you, we wouldn't have known. But please, keep this secret. Emma's reputation and dignity are at stake." Sarah nodded, promising confidentiality, and wished them well before leaving. The house fell silent, filled only with Clara and Emma's sobs. Henry rubbed his forehead, lifeless. "Enough crying. Clara, Emma, wash up. Emma, change and come talk to us." They obeyed, knowing Henry was serious. Emma, now changed, sat hesitantly in the living room, facing her stern parents. The cold meal on the table reminded her of the warmth they should have shared, ruined by her actions. Henry spoke first. "Now, calmly tell us everything: who the father is, where he's from, what he does. Don't hide anything." Emma, clutching her shirt, recounted meeting Mark, their relationship, and how it led to her pregnancy. Clara wailed, "How could you be so gullible?" Henry stopped her. "Enough, Clara. You're right, Emma, this is your fault. We warned you about love because we feared days like this. The world is full of people, and you're too young to understand them. We're deeply disappointed. Why didn't you trust us? Don't we make you feel safe?" Emma, tearless now, said, "I'm sorry. I have no excuses. I've failed you. Punish me as you see fit." Henry and Clara reflected, realizing they bore some responsibility. By sheltering Emma in a rosy world without teaching her life's harsh realities, they left her naive and vulnerable. Though angry, they pitied her more. "We're not blaming you to hurt you," Henry said. We're teaching you. There's no time to dwell on fault. Has the boy known about the pregnancy? Emma shook her head. Tomorrow, you'll come with us to the hospital for a proper checkup. Regardless of the results, you must bring him to meet us. He has a responsibility. Emma agreed. They ate little, the atmosphere heavy. Emma cleaned up and retreated to her room, exhausted. Checking her phone, she saw 2 messages from Mark sent 3 hours earlier. What are you doing? Why no texts today? I miss you. When are you back in the city? Let's meet at the usual motel. Love you. Before, such messages thrilled her, but now they left her cold. She replied, I'm tired today. I'll text you tomorrow, and tossed the phone aside. She wanted hospital confirmation before telling Mark, hoping he'd take responsibility as he'd promised, even mentioning marriage. She imagined a future where they'd wed, and the pregnancy would be a blessing. With these thoughts, she drifted to sleep. The next morning, Henry, Clara, and Emma went to the provincial hospital. Though unspoken, they all hoped Sarah was mistaken. After a wait, the doctor confirmed a 4-week-old, stable fetus, advising the family to care for the expectant mother. Their faces fell. Clara, dazed, clutched the results, wanting to comfort Emma but staying silent. Henry told Emma to call Jack and ask him to come home urgently. Emma dialed Mark, stepping aside. After a few rings, he answered, What's up? Feeling chatty today? Emma, softly, said, I need to talk to you. Mark laughed, I'm all ears. When are you back? I miss you. Let's hit the motel for a change. Emma's heart sank, his mind was always on sex. I'm serious. I can't keep up with your demands anymore. Mark, confused, said, What's that supposed to mean? Don't be mad. I love you. You want me too, don't pretend. Sensing her tone, he pressed, What's wrong? Why are you snapping? Emma, exasperated, said clearly, I'm pregnant. Mark, stunned, replied, What? Didn't you take the pills I gave you? I saw you take them. Emma admitted, I don't know why it happened. I checked at the hospital, it's a month along. Mark frowned, silent. Thinking he was shocked, Emma softened, I know it's sudden. I just found out yesterday. But now that it's happened, we need to plan for the future and our child. Mark stayed silent, his face darkening. Emma, confused, asked, What are you thinking? Do you want to abort? Mark replied coldly, Yes. Emma, thinking she misheard, said, What? This is our child. Mark countered, We're good as we are. You're still in school. Keeping it would ruin your studies. I need to focus on my career. A child now isn't right. Think about it, we're young. We can have kids later. For now, don't keep it. Emma was devastated. Logically, Mark wasn't wrong, but emotionally, she couldn't agree. You said you loved me, that you'd take responsibility and marry me. This is your child, a life. How can I abandon it? Mark, unmoved, said, I've explained myself. Why don't you get it? I'm struggling too. How do I even know it's mine? Furious, he added, maybe you're faking it. Is it really my kid? Emma, hurt, pleaded, but Mark, sensing trouble, softened his tone, all right, my fault. The news was sudden, and I got emotional, saying things I didn't mean. If you don't want to abort, I won't force you. Stay home, rest, and take care of the pregnancy. I'll arrange work and come down in 2 days to talk to your parents. Emma, relieved, said, Really? Mark, sounding serious, confirmed, Of course. Don't you trust me? Tell your parents I'll be there in 2 days. They hung up, and Emma felt hopeful again. She told Clara and Henry, who seemed less worried, though Henry remained skeptical, sensing vagueness in Mark's promise. With no other option, they waited. 2 days passed, but Mark didn't show. Emma called repeatedly, only to find herself blocked. As night fell, she realized she'd been deceived. Sobbing, she hugged Clara, who exchanged a pained look with Henry. Their worst fear had come true. Mark had abandoned their daughter and unborn grandchild. Henry, usually composed, exploded, "That despicable man. I'll make him answer for this. If he won't marry you or support the child, fine, but he must apologize properly." Clara agreed, and the next day, Henry and Emma took the earliest bus to the city, heading to Mark's workplace. They asked for him, describing him as an engineer in the research department. A woman responded, "You're looking for Mark? Didn't you know? 2 days ago, he packed up and left urgently. He quit this morning. I'm handling his paperwork. Such an irresponsible guy." Emma and Henry were thunderstruck. The woman continued, "Do you have urgent business with him?" Emma nodded. "It's tough, he's probably gone for good. His wife is super jealous. Maybe this sudden departure is family-related." Emma stammered, "He's married?" The woman confirmed, "Oh, yes, for years. His wife calls daily to check on him. We're cautious not to cause misunderstandings. Mark's a flirt, always teasing girls in other departments." Stunned, Emma and Henry left silently. On the way home, neither spoke, both consumed by grief and anger. Emma, seeing her father's graying hair, felt guiltier. She'd gotten Mark's number from the colleague and vowed to try contacting him. But what could she do even if she reached him? Henry, reading her thoughts, said, "Enough, Emma. We trusted too much. If he's hiding, we won't find him. Don't worry, we'll never leave you alone. We'll solve this together." Emma felt ashamed. Henry, despite his temper, hadn't scolded her harshly, even calming Clara. This made her guilt heavier. Back home, they were surprised to see Jack, Emma's brother. She'd texted him everything, but he'd been tied up with a project up north, only returning today. Seeing them, Jack rushed over. "He's gone. We went to his workplace, but he'd already left. And he's married, deceiving young girls like Emma. What a scoundrel." Clara, worried, asked, "Are you okay, Emma?" Emma replied, "I'm fine. My heart's cold since he denied responsibility. Now, he's my enemy. I'm sorry for worrying everyone. I'm ashamed and regretful." Jack, looking at his beloved sister, felt partly to blame for neglecting her while busy with work. He'd assumed she was too young to get into trouble, but now she was about to become a mother at such a young age. Jack proposed, "Mom, Dad, let Emma come with me to the city. She'll pause her studies, stay with me until she gives birth, then resume college." Clara hesitated, "You're a busy man. How can you care for a pregnant woman? Let her stay home." Jack persisted, "Things have happened. Emma will graduate later than her peers, but staying here, she'll face gossip, affecting her mental health. The city's the best place for her to quietly have the baby and continue her studies." Clara worried about the child's future. Henry suggested, "Bring the baby here. We'll raise it." Jack agreed, noting that Emma and he would be too busy to care for a child. Clara asked, "How do we explain a sudden baby?" Emma spoke up, "Say it's my child." All eyes turned to her. "I've thought it through. This child is the consequence of my naivety, but it's my flesh and blood. I'll work and study to raise it." She touched her stomach, awakened by her parents' unconditional love, feeling a mother's bond. Jack objected, "That'll ruin your future and our family's reputation." But Emma was resolute. Henry, after weighing options, said, "Let's follow Jack's plan. After the birth, bring the baby here. We'll say it's a distant relative's child we're raising. When Emma graduates and has a stable job, she can reunite with her child." Clara agreed, and Emma, learning from her past stubbornness, complied. A week later, Emma moved to the city with Jack. The dazzling city no longer excited her. She completed paperwork to pause her studies, watching her peers with envy. Her mistake had a steep price. Jack rented a spacious apartment for them, and Emma settled in. Clara visited bi-weekly, staying a few days to keep Emma company, knowing pregnancy could be emotionally taxing. Henry joined monthly. Thankfully, the baby grew healthily, and Emma experienced minimal discomfort. In the final 2 months, Clara stayed permanently. When neighbors asked, Henry said she was in the city for medical treatment. One afternoon, while folding clothes, Emma felt intense pain and nearly fainted. Clara, panicked, called the hospital and Jack, who rushed home to take Emma to the maternity ward. Though her due date was 10 days away, her water broke early, necessitating an early delivery. For 5 agonizing hours, Clara and Jack waited outside, while Henry, at home, was restless. Finally, a baby's cry echoed. The doctor emerged, holding a boy. "Congratulations. Despite early concerns, mother and child are safe. He's 3 kilograms. Please head to the recovery room." Relieved, Clara rushed to Emma, while Jack called Henry. Hours later, Emma woke. "How do you feel? Does it hurt?" Clara asked, holding her hand. Emma, despite lingering pain, shook her head to ease her mother's worry. Childbirth had shown her the sacredness of motherhood. "Where's my baby?" she asked. "He's in the neonatal unit with Jack. Don't worry. Rest now. The nurse will bring him tonight," Clara said, stroking Emma's hair. Emma slept, and that evening, she met her son, wrapped in a blanket, sleeping peacefully. Holding him, tears welled up. 9 months of carrying him had deepened her maternal love, but she felt both joy and sorrow. He had no father. Jack and Clara, seeing her, understood. Jack teased, "He looks just like you. He'll be a charming kid. How can Uncle Jack not adore him?" Clara added, "Not just Jack, Grandma and Grandpa too. Grandpa's been calling, eager to see him." Emma, comforted, named the boy Sky, a name Jack approved. With the doctor's consent, they returned home. At 19, Emma learned to be a mother with Clara's guidance. Sky was well behaved, easing her burden, but the hardest part was knowing she'd soon part with him. She was too young, her studies incomplete, and finances unstable. Sky would suffer with her. Reluctantly, she let him go with Clara and Henry. Emma avoided the departure, fearing she'd break down. Clara sent daily photos, but Emma's longing grew. She urged Jack to help her resume college, channeling her yearning into studying. During her college years, she called Sky daily, watching him learn to sit, walk, eat, and speak. Since Henry told everyone Sky was a relative's child, Sky called her Aunt Emma, not Mom. During holidays, she brought him treats and toys, their bond unbreakable. Seeing them unable to acknowledge their true relationship pained Henry and Clara, but time was needed. 4 years flew by, and Emma graduated at 24, 2 years later than her peers. With an excellent degree, she declined city job offers, choosing to return home to work as an accountant, planning to reclaim Sky and care for her aging parents. One day, buying a cake for Sky, who'd mentioned craving sweets, she arrived home to his excited embrace. "Aunt Emma's back. Did you miss me?" she teased, handing him the cake. "You're the best, Aunt Emma." Sky cheered, running inside. Watching him, Emma smiled, grateful for her parents and son. Sky was nearing school age, and she planned to officially claim him. As she mused, Jack arrived with his girlfriend, Mia, whom he'd met in Emma's third year of college. They planned to marry, and today, Mia visited to meet Henry and Clara. Emma, having known Mia in the city, liked her refined, intelligent nature. The family dined joyfully, Sky chattering, Mia and Jack sharing sweet glances. Henry and Clara, seeing their children and grandson happy, were content. Jack and Mia stayed a few days before returning to the city, while Emma adapted to her job, excelling and earning her boss's respect. That weekend, Sarah invited Emma to her niece's birthday party. Emma asked, "Can I bring Sky?" Sarah agreed, and they attended. The lively party buzzed with guests. Sarah introduced Emma to her brother, Nathan, and his friend, Victor, a familiar face from Emma's university. Victor, known for his looks and academic prowess, had worked with Emma on a charity project, becoming friends. They'd lost touch after graduation but reconnected now. "Long time no see," they said in unison, laughing. Victor asked, "How's life? Where are you working?" Emma shared, "I'm doing well. I worked in the city post-graduation but recently moved back here." Victor, surprised, noted, "Not many young grads choose home over city opportunities." Emma smiled, "The city's too hectic. I wanted to be near family." She asked, "Are you just here for the party or staying longer?" Victor explained, "I'm here a few weeks for a company project survey. Nathan invited me." Impressed, Emma said, "Managing a project at your age? That's rare. Good luck." Victor teased, "I'll be around often. Will you be my temporary tour guide? I'll pay well." Emma retorted, "My services aren't cheap." Their easy banter felt familiar, as if no time had passed. Sky interrupted, "Aunt Emma, I'm hungry." Emma wiped his sweat, saying, "Played too hard, huh? Let's find food." Victor, charmed, asked, "Your nephew? What's his name?" Emma replied, "Sky. I brought him to play with Sarah's niece." As Emma led Sky away, Victor grabbed her arm, "You promised to be my guide. Give me your number." No backing out. Blushing, Emma shared her contact. Later, checking her phone, she saw Victor's text about exploring the area. Her old crush from college stirred, but she scolded herself. She was a single mother with a past. Would anyone accept a 25-year-old with a 5-year-old son? Emma kept her promise, guiding Victor during his surveys, sharing local knowledge. He texted daily, checking on her health and visiting with excuses, even appearing at her workplace. His presence became a comforting constant, but Emma ignored his evident feelings, fearing she'd fall too easily again. Victor, sensing her distance, refused to give up. He'd admired her in college, regretted not pursuing her, and saw their reunion as a second chance. One afternoon, as Emma and Clara gardened, Victor arrived. Clara, noticing his frequent visits, teased, "He's persistent, helping with chores and joining us for meals. He seems decent." Emma insisted, "We're just friends." Clara chuckled, "Friends don't make your eyes light up like that. Why not give him a chance?" Emma confessed, "You know my situation. Will Victor accept my past and Sky?" Clara, thoughtful, said, "My gut says he's not judgmental. He's kind to Sky, who adores him. But it's your choice. Let go of the past to embrace happiness." Emma, torn between heart and reason, was interrupted by a shocking sight as she returned from work. Mark stood at her gate, thinner and disheveled, a shadow of his former self. "What are you doing here? How dare you show your face?" Emma snapped. Mark, relieved to see her, said, "I've finally found you." Disgusted, she demanded, "What do you want?" "Leave." Her raised voice alerted Henry and Clara, who rushed out, Sky trailing behind. Seeing Sky, Mark lunged, "My son. I finally found you." Emma yanked Sky back. Son? Who said he's yours? Get away from us. Mark pleaded. I know he's mine. Don't deny it. Let me explain. Henry, stern, said, leave our family alone. We don't welcome heartless people like you. Emma, shielding Sky, added, my father's right. Go, and don't come back. Mark begged, I know you're angry. I was wrong, but I had my reasons. I'm here to make amends. Please, let me see our son. Emma, firm, led Sky and her parents inside, slamming the door. Exhausted, she feared Mark's intentions, warning her parents to keep him away from Sky. Surprisingly, after lingering a few days, Mark vanished. Relieved yet cautious, Emma took Sky to the park one Sunday. As they crossed the street, a motorcycle sped toward them. Panicking, Emma hugged Sky, bracing for impact. Suddenly, Mark appeared, shielding them, but all three fell, Mark badly injured. At the hospital, Emma and Sky had minor scratches, but Mark required a 2-week stay. He woke, asking, where's Sky? Is he okay? Emma confirmed Sky was fine, with her parents. Suspicious, she asked, why were you there? Why save us? Mark admitted, I have no right to be in your lives, but I couldn't stop missing him. I've been near your house, watching. Today, I followed you and acted in time. He winced, pain evident, and continued, I've lived in regret for my cowardice. I married due to family pressure, without love. Meeting you showed me true love, but my wife fell ill, and I had to care for her. She passed, and now I want to make up for you and Sky. Emma, conflicted, said, we owe you for today, but that doesn't erase your wrongs. Since you're Sky's father, you can visit after discharge, but you can't claim him. Mark agreed, and post-recovery, he visited Sky, bringing gifts, though Sky remained wary. Emma and her parents softened slightly toward him. One day, a stranger, Paul, approached Emma at work, revealing Mark's true motives. Mark's son with his wife needed a kidney transplant, and Sky, as his half-brother, was a potential donor. Mark's return was a ploy to use Sky. Paul, hired by Mark to stage the motorcycle incident for heroics, confessed out of guilt, having returned Mark's money. Emma, horrified, realized Mark's deceit. As she processed this, Clara called. Mark had kidnapped Sky. Emma and Paul, stunned, acted fast. Emma met Victor, who was picking her up, and they searched for Sky. Spotting a suspicious car, they saw Sky escape, pursued by Mark. Emma confronted him, let Sky go. I know your plan to use him for your son's transplant. Mark, unrepentant, said, I'm saving my only child. You kept Sky against my advice, so use him to save his brother. As he threatened Sky, police arrived, alerted by Paul. Mark fled, abandoning Sky, who hit his head and bled heavily. At the hospital, Sky needed blood, but his rare type wasn't available. Victor, with a matching rare type, donated, saving Sky. Post-recovery, Emma confessed to Victor that Sky was her son, explaining her past with Mark. Victor, unfazed, said, I don't care about your past. I love you and want to protect you, Sky, and your parents. They grew closer, and Victor proposed a family meeting to plan their future. Both families approved, and Emma and Victor married, officially adopting Sky. Sky, now understanding Emma as his mother, adjusted happily, calling Victor, Dad. Mark faced prison for his crimes, but his son received a transplant. Emma, reflecting on her stormy youth, felt grateful for her family and Victor, who helped her find a new path. She believed that with faith and redemption, a brighter future awaited. Dear listeners, Emma's naivety led to deception, but her family's support and self-awareness helped her rise. Despite Mark's disruptive return, Emma, with Victor and her loved ones, overcame obstacles, finding true love. Let's wish them happiness. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye, and see you next time.